This is a true story. It happened to a friend of mine. They called him Ox. You didn't have to look at him twice to know why, you know what I mean? They had a saying down at the construction site where he worked. When the bulldozer breaks down, get Ox. Well, one day, Ox was clearing off a boulder from this building when he hears a woman screaming for her life inside a dilapidated old house across the street. So without any hesitation, Ox drops the overgrown rock and hightails it to save the woman. Only thing is, the door's locked. But one measly door isn't going to stop anyone the size of Ox. So he gives it a swift kick, and not only takes out the door, but half the wall as well. And there inside, he finds this sweet little old lady named Miss Melody, who just bought the house a few weeks ago. She's perched on a shaky wooden stool and pointing towards a little mouse. When he saw Ox, he stood up on his hind legs, fixed the giant with his beady red eyes, put up his dukes, bared his tiny teeth, and dared Ox to take his best shot. Ox answered with a terrifying growl that rattled the old house, not to mention Miss Melody. Then the mouse charged. But being a mouse, he scooted into his tiny hole. Ox, who couldn't put on the brakes, crashed right through the back wall, leaving sweet Miss Melody speechless and leaving the house with hardly any of its back walls standing. But like the old saying goes, it ain't over till the mouse squeaks. With Miss Melody still planted on her stool, Ox carefully placed a trap into the rodent's hole. The mouse, hiding inside a maze of wiring, watched curiously. Then, without even so much as a thank you, he snatched the cheese. He had what was surely the fastest paw in the West. He scarfed down the cheese by the time the trap had sprung. Hearing the trap snap, Ox quickly pulled it out. But instead of a dead mouse, he found that the mini rat, who was probably the Einstein of rodents, had attached a live wire to the metal snapper. The booby trap sent a jolt of electricity through Ox. The electrically charged Hulk surged around from wall to wall, yanking out every appliance in the house. No question about it, this round went to the mouse. Now I gotta warn you, next to the mule, the ox is the most stubborn animal on this good earth. So you can imagine what went through poor Miss Melody's mind when Ox told her to wait right there while he went to get something from the construction site. Well, she knew by the rumbling sound and by the way the ground was beginning to shake that whatever it was he got was bigger than a screwdriver. Miss Melody shook in her fuzzy pink slippers when she saw what could only be described as a mechanical Tyrannosaurus. It had clopping steel jaws and huge teeth that clanged with every chomp. The sound of crunching, smashing, and demolishing everything in its path roared through what remained of her house, even caused the little mouse peering out from the safety of his hole to let out a blood-curdling squeak. Miss Melody screamed, but no one could hear her over the bulldozer's roar as it began chomping the little house to bits. It left nothing but a pile of kindling. Ox thumped his chest and shouted victoriously, "Goodbye, mouse!" To which Miss Melody replied, "And my house?" So much for gratitude. But one look at the pile of rubble, Ox realized she had a point. He told her not to worry, that he'd build her a new one. And true to his word, the Ox and his crew went to work, building Miss Melody a house fit for a queen. He even added a swimming pool. And when they were finished, Miss Melody thanked them with tears in her eyes. And she immediately planted a for sale sign in the front yard. She sold it the very next day to a stockbroker for a cool $1 million profit. This is a true story. It happened to a friend of mine. And you can just imagine the look on Ox's face when the little mouse suddenly appeared wearing a pure cashmere sweater and slid into the limo alongside Miss Melody, where an assortment of cheese waited on a silver plate.